Welcome back everyone. We are starting with time linkers firstly, all right? If you remember in our tenses, when we were covering tenses, we talked about most of these linkers in detail. But there might also be some points that we might want to remember. So we are going to cover some of them again, all right? So most common time linkers are these, everyone. Before, after, when, while, and as, by the time, since, until, till, as soon as, once, whenever, every time, the first time, the last time, and the next time, and finally, no sooner than. Like I said, we have already covered many of them, but there are also some we haven't covered in the tenses part. So we will have a look at them in two short lessons. First of all, as and while, all right? So as and while as time linkers, they are exactly the same, everyone, all right? But as has different meanings. But as a time linker, it's the same with while. And both of them are mostly used with continuous tenses. And they mean happening at the same time, happening simultaneously, all right? So, while I was climbing the tree, I hurt my ankle. It's the same as I hurt my ankle as I was climbing the tree, all right? You might see many sentences where while and as are used in simple tenses as well. Now, this is important, everyone. Many of us think that as and while are only and only used with continuous tenses. Now, this is unfortunately wrong. It might be quite possible that you see them with simple tenses as well. They are not always used with continuous tenses, but mostly this is true. Mostly they are used with continuous tenses. Because we covered these two in detail in tenses, and I will not give any more examples, all right? Now, until and till, these two are very important, everyone, because until and till are exactly the same. Till is a little bit more informal. It's used in spoken language, but they have a similar meaning to by and by the time, but there's a big difference actually between these four. Now, until and till mean that the activity continues uninterruptedly, all right, without stopping. So if you are using until, it means the activity goes on and on and on up to a certain time. So until and till give this meaning. So let's look at these examples. We will stay here until you finish your work. Now, what's our main activity here? Staying, right? So, staying goes on and on and on without stopping until when? Until you finish your work. So, our main verb here is stay, and until shows that this goes on and on until a certain time. Or they lived in Bucharest until the end of Tim's contract. So they lived without stopping until that time, all right? I didn't really want to have my own children I didn't really want to have children until my daughter was born. So not one thing, this is our main activity, continued until a certain time. Now, by and by the time, on the other hand, shows that one event is completed, it's finished, before another event in the past or future. Now, people, by and by the time, underline that one event is finished before another event in the past or in the future. It does not show that it goes on and on until that time. That is only with until. Now, I will give you other examples with by and by the time. We will have left by 5 o'clock. This shows the event finishes sometime before 5. All right. So if I'm using by, it might mean maybe I will leave at 4:30, maybe at 4:45, maybe 4:55. All right. But here, as you can also see, leaving a place is not a continuous activity. You don't leave and leave and leave and leave. No, you leave only once. All right. So by shows when this event will have finished. Look again, look. They lived in Bucharest. No, they had left Bucharest by the time I started working there. The event finishes sometime before I started working there. So by and by the time emphasizes the finishing time of an activity. So, but we covered this in detail in tenses. This is just a reminder, okay? We are remembering this thing. So I will not go into more detail, all right? Now, let's take a short break right here, and we will continue with time linkers after the break.